This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What a win for the Chicago Cubs. Looked like this was going to be a long postcast show. Joe George here with you on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel, the host of the Cubs postcast shows. Here we go live after every single Cubs game. Look, it felt like this was going to be a long show, 15 to 20 minutes of just ranting about what was going wrong with the Cubs, not having a hit from the fourth inning to the ninth inning, and then a ninth inning rally led by Justin Turner, getting the game-winning 2 RBI, I guess single-double, whatever they called it. Massive moment for Justin Turner. Very good win for the Cubs. They needed it because it felt like this was going to be a rough one in Chicago. But today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Had to remember what the promo code was there for a second. Look, we're going to talk about this win. We're going to talk about what happened in the game because there's a lot to dissect. From Julian Merriweather to the bats going silent, Pete Crow-Armstrong, the ninth inning, all of it. Interesting, wild game, I would say, for the Cubs. But we'll get right into it with our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Locked On Player of the Game is absolutely Justin Turner. He's not playing in this one. He pinch hits in the seventh inning for Nicky Lopez, and then he comes up with runners on first and third in the bottom of the ninth, gets the 2 RBI game winner there. Plus, we're going to duo this here. Nico Hoerner as well, the birthday boy himself, 28 years old, getting the first RBI single. He's so clutch. We've already seen a couple moments this year, but that is one of the Cubs players right now that I feel most confident about. In a situation where you need a run, like we saw earlier in the season with the walk-off in the 10th or 11th inning that he had, if you need a run and Nico Hoerner is at the plate, you feel good that he's going to put barrel to ball and going to get the winning run or the game-tying run in or get you closer like he did in this one. So Nico Hoerner, happy birthday to you. Justin Turner, his first moment as a Cub, who is the guy that, yes, everyone complains about, rightfully so. He hasn't been good this year. But that's why he's here. That's why Justin Turner's on this baseball team. He's on this baseball team to be someone that can pinch hit, a veteran presence, that's calm in the box, that he feels confident in what he's going to do. That's why you bring in Justin Turner. Plain and simple. 4 moments like this tonight. That's why he's here. And it was everything, again, like this could have been a disaster of a game for the Cubs with the way it started off. But just a great ending there. Let's go through what happens here in the ninth inning, because they got back to basics, and that's why I think the Cubs really won this game. So Carson Kelly gets on base because the shortstop bobbles it. Take advantage of bad baseball teams. That's what the Cubs have to do. Like, even if you're not playing your best, you're playing the Miami Marlins. So the shortstop bobbles it. He gets on base. It's their first hit. They credit a hit, actually. The Cubs' first hit since the 4th inning. Dansby walks, so it's first and second with no outs. Ballesteros comes up in his debut, has a chance to be the hero. Instead, it's a ground out, but he's safe at first base. So it's first and third with 1 out. Nico Hoerner gets the RBI single, so it's 4-3. Still first and third with Brujan now in the game, and then Justin Turner hits the walk-off, 2 RBI. I'm going to call it a double because that's what he should get credit for in that one. So you come through in the clutch, and that's what, think about how this game was going. To not have a hit from the 4th to the 9th inning, it's just like, where is the consistency? Like, that's what we're going to talk about as well on this show, is where is the consistency with this lineup? Like, you think about what's happened in just these 2-game sample size. Yesterday, they scored 5 runs in 1 inning. Today, it's a home run from Pete Crow-Armstrong, a sac fly from Pete Crow-Armstrong, but then you pull it all together there in the 9th inning. And that, to me, is what felt like has been missing over the last 7 days, is the small ball stuff that the Cubs, the reason why they are in the top 5 of virtually every single offensive category in baseball is because of what they've done playing small ball. It's not just the homers that they're hitting, but you get guys on base, they're walking guys, you're beating out, infield singles, all these things that the Cubs have done so well this season. And it just kind of has been missing in action for this team, but they come through there in the 9th and they do it when it matters most. And a lot of fun in this game for sure. Matt asks, is this team giving you 2015 vibes? Yeah, I think a little bit. 2015, not so 2016 vibes, I would say right now. But they are this is one of those games that's it's frustrating in a way. And Sam's going to go live right after me as well. So you guys have a double, Cubs postcast here basically on the channel tonight. This game is frustrating in a lot of ways because like it's the Marlins. Like you shouldn't, no offense. I know they're Major League Baseball players. I know they're getting paid to be out there, but like they're a AAA team. It shouldn't ever feel this challenging to be a team like this, but it was. They had your number through the first 8 innings, but in the end, it was a fun ending. And that's what matters most, is that in the end, they won the baseball game. So yes, there's frustrations. Yes, we're going to talk about it, but the ending is what matters the most. And that's what good teams do. They take advantage of mistakes like the Marlins gave you with that bobble on the Carson Kelly play, the walk to Dansby Swanson. And look, this is a guy that's only struck out, the guy on the mound. He's the guy who has only struck out 8 guys on the season in all of his appearances. So you knew going in that the Cubs were going to have a chance to put the bat on the ball and get guys over and get guys in, and that's what they did. So it was a fantastic performance in the 9th inning. The rest of it, not so great outside of Pete Crow-Armstrong. But in the end, they got the win, and you beat the teams that are in front of you. And I love the 15-6 goal at a minimum over the next 21 games, and now 19 left, and they're 2-0 to start this. But a lot to get into still, just to dissect of what happened through this game. We are going to talk about the consistency. Julian Merriweather's performance, a couple questions about his body language. I know Craig Counsell smiling on the mound is not something that people love to see there as he's getting yanked out of the game. And honestly, we got to talk about Ryan Pressly here before we go to break. Look, he's clearly not the closer anymore. That's clear. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Ryan Pressly comes into the game. My notes here as I'm taking the show are, oh boy, here comes Pressly. But then he gets a strikeout. So, look, if he's not going to be the closer, it'd be nice if you could find him and still be able to use him in high leverage situations. I wouldn't say we're going to talk about the circle of trust as well, just who you trust in the bullpen right now. It's not like this 1 out that he got elevates Ryan Pressly into that moment, but to come in with the bases loaded and to where the Marlins could have absolutely blown up this game and the Cubs could have had another performance where the bullpen gives up 8 earned runs or more, but for Pressly to come in and get the out, like that it feels positive. It doesn't, I don't know if it means anything, to be honest, about this, but it just feels positive that he was able to go in there and get it, because again, that felt like really the brink of disaster that the game could have been tonight. All right, we'll take a break. When we get back, we'll talk about the lineup, Pete Crow-Armstrong, what we saw from everyone else pretty much in this game outside of the 9th inning. We'll talk about Julian Merriweather, his performance tonight as well, that obviously was not very good, and what we saw from Ben Brown, because in the chaos of this game, in the struggles that was until the 9th, I feel like Ben Brown's solid outing kind of gets left out a little bit of what he did in this one. That's all coming up next here on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before the tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Obviously, we've got the first part of the finals, the Eastern Conference locked in with the Indiana Pacers. They're looking at the line tomorrow night for Knicks and Celtics. No Jason Tatum, torn Achilles, Boston -4.5. Give me Jalen Brunson, who I've been watching play basketball since watching him drop like 56 as a junior at Stevenson. So give me Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks +4.5 tomorrow. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet to win. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, now let's talk about everything that happened before the 9th inning in this game, because the 9th inning was fantastic. It was great. It was fun, but a lot happened in innings 1 through 8. So let's start with Ben Brown here. Start with the positive. Good start from him. I would say solid start from Ben Brown. It does feel like Dempster was talking about on the broadcast. Like he needs to add that other pitch. We've talked about it on these shows. I know Matt and Sam have talked about it on their shows. It's just there's something just missing from his arsenal right now that's making sometimes life a little bit more challenging for him. But Ben Brown in this game was pretty good. Only gave up the home run and then a triple, and his line ended up being 5 in the third, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks. That's important for Ben Brown. 6 strikeouts. He lowered his ERA to a 4.75 on the season. So a solid outing from Ben Brown. I would like to see him, go a little bit deeper into these games, but in the situation that they were in, what was runners on first and second, it makes sense to bring in Caleb Thielbar there, who comes in to finish out the 6th inning, does his job coming back from paternity leave, gets his 2 outs with a strikeout and just 8 pitches. And then in theory, you're like, hey, they're going to hand this thing over. It's 2-2. No big deal. Like they're going to find a way to get this thing over. And it just took a little bit longer than we would have liked. But I think, Ben Brown was solid in this game. And that's important because as you wait to see how long Shota is really out of this lineup, just like Colin Ray yesterday, how important it's been, you need these guys to step up until the Cubs get to a point where they want to go out and acquire a big time starting pitcher. Because I do feel like that's going to happen at some point this season, maybe not till the deadline, but we got a ways to go until the deadline. We're only like 40 something games into the season. So you need Ben Brown and Colin Ray, like they've done these last 2 starts, to be solid like they were. And the bullpen, for the most part, was pretty good. Like they were pretty good, except for Julian Merriweather, of course, in this game, who was tough. He only gets 2 outs, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks. The Cubs only walked 3 guys in this game. Flexen walked 1, Merriweather walked the other 2. 30 pitches, they get 2 outs only. And he just wasn't good. Like he just wasn't good in this game. Like there's no other way to cut it. He's not in the circle of trust. He's not there. And I really don't understand why he's out there in a high leverage situation. Like you think about who you trust right now. I trust Thielbar. I trust Hodge. I trust, Drew Pomerantz, honestly, right now. And I know Merriweather's the righty. So like maybe you're a little bit, left to be desired there on that side, throwing from that side of the mound. But it's just don't love seeing him right now in a high leverage situation. And it's not like it's super high leverage. It's 2-2. It's not something that like you feel like you have to bank on this guy to get major outs in a game, but it's just not someone that I feel confident in on the mound. And Palencia. Thank you, Ramon. Great catch. Forgot to mention Palencia. He's absolutely in the circle of trust. When these guys can't pitch every day. Like they can't pitch every day. So you have to have other guys step up, and Merriweather just kind of let it get away from him. Whether it's pitches basically right down the middle or walking guys. It's just, my only real criticism I would say of Craig Counsell in this game is, take him out sooner. He's, as Cliff says, he's a walk machine here in the chat. Like I totally agree. Like he is a walk machine right now. So it's just not great for Julian Merriweather. There's no other way to cut it. I also mentioned I forgot Keller. It's like, look, that actually, like as we're saying names, like it actually, like the Cubs bullpen, like which is what they said on the broadcast is the 12th ERA out of 15 in the National League right now, 24th out of 30th in all of Major League Baseball, the bullpen right now. But that's also inflated by, those 4 disaster outings that the team has. So they're just not consistent. They're like the lineup, which, again, no hits from the 4th inning to the 9th inning. Yesterday, the Cubs scored 5 runs in 1 inning, and they're just not consistently, rolling like they were earlier in the season. To be expected, right? Like we can't hold a team to the standard that it was early on because the Cubs were doing things that seemed unrealistic, and it was, and that's clear. But I think in a big way, it's flipped in the other direction, where I also didn't think it would be this much of a slump for pretty much everybody, it feels like, in the lineup right now. Like Pete Crow-Armstrong, besides today, hasn't been great in the leadoff spot. He's been good, but he hasn't been great. I do think it's interesting. I'm sure Sam's going to talk about this because I saw him tweeting about it. The fact that we're not seeing him run in front of Tucker and Suzuki. I agree with the premise of you have great hitters behind him, so you don't want to give out free outs on the base pass, but he's so fast, he's so electric. Like I almost don't care. But the lineup's just been a little bit of a struggle, and that's what we saw in this game. And again, like to have 1 inning where all your runs come yesterday, it's just the lineup's just inconsistent right now. Kyle Tucker continues to slump. I said this yesterday. If you missed the postcast show, if you don't know my background real quick, if you happen to be new to the show watching right now, like I work at ESPN in Houston. Obviously, I'm a Cubs fan from Chicago. So I've watched Kyle Tucker up close and personal for years now. I was there when he caught the final out of the World Series. This is what Kyle Tucker does when he's slumping. This is what is really just his this is Kyle Tucker to like his core is when he's slumping, like we saw in the game tonight, he's just rolling over on the baseball on a consistent basis multiple times. The ball's barely getting out of the infield, or it's not getting out of the infield. It's barely getting past the pitcher's mound. He's just rolling over on the ball constantly. And he goes through these slumps where that's kind of what it is. And all of a sudden wake up one day and Kyle Tucker's the best player in baseball again, basically, outside of probably Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. So he's just in one of those funks right now, but that's been a big part of what it feels like with the Cubs, where their lineup's not consistent. Is I hate to pinpoint it on one player, but you're not seeing those, big hits consistently like we were early in the season, like we will see again from Kyle Tucker. It feels like that's a big part of it right now for the lineup. So look, interesting game. Interesting game to say the least, to nearly lose to the Marlins, but then Justin Turner, the absolute hero of the game today. And again, happy birthday to Nico Hoerner. Getting that RBI was clutch there in the 9th inning. I'm going to let that go for me today. So we'll wrap up here. You can find me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Joe George Radio. Just a reminder, Sam is about to go live pretty much as soon as I sign off right here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. So stay right here. Go join his video. Hang out with him for more reaction to the Cubs 5-4 win against the Miami Marlins. So we will talk to you tomorrow after the series finale. And yes, the Cubs won another series. Don't forget that as well. So we will talk to you tomorrow